All right. Good evening, Fans Nation, and welcome to FTSN News Edition. Dolphins free agency starting off with a bang. If you thought we weren't going to make a splash, I take not. It started off this morning with waking up. My phone was vibrating. See my mother call me in the morning. Hello, what's going on? Oh, Dolphins cut two. I was like, that early. Wow, there it is. Done. Official. You thought that was the news. Well, if you've been watching the channel, you know that nobody really expected Malik Willis to be the Dolphins quarterback. I mean, everybody in the middle were connecting it. It was like, there's no way you're going to take a $99 million cap hit, stretching out 2 years, take a $99 million cap hit. Money's not going to do that. They're going to go roll with Quinn Ewers. They're going to draft a guy. Those are the two guys they're going with. Let's talk about Joe Flacco. Malik is going to go sign with some other team, the Cardinals or something. I'm at work. I'm chilling out. Coworker comes to me, Bobby, did you see? Because I wasn't really expecting. I was following it. I saw the Minka trade. We're going to discuss all that. But you saw the Minka trade. And he goes, did you see it? And I'm like, yeah, I know. Tua got cut. I saw that. He goes, no, they got Malik Willis. And I literally said, in the whole office, F out of here. Out of here. And he goes, I'm serious. And you know who I called? My Canadian brother.
I'm alive.
That's the bigger news. Hey, breaking news. It's not Malik Willis signing with the Dolphins.
He's back.
It stands as back.
I'm alive. I'm alive.
You're alive. It took Tua getting cut and Malik Willis getting signed to get you back on the air, brother. How are you? And, man, let's get into it.
Oh, how am I doing? I don't know. I've been the last couple of months have been a little bit of a whirlwind. Life is insane. And whether it's the kids, whether it's work, whether it's anything, I never miss any shows. I catch every show. I haven't gone in the comments because I've been processing everything. But honestly, I said to myself, tampering day is here. And I said, you want to know what? What a perfect time. I did my round. I did my, when you go through your 12 steps, I basically went through my 12 steps and reached out to all the people I need to atone to. So I reached out to Sammy. I said hi to him. I said hi to Brett. Greg's still ignoring me for some reason. I don't know what I did to the poor guy, but I did my atonement. I talked to Dahl today. I talked to everybody. Steve, even Rob messaged me, wowzer. So I'm going to get back into the fold. Honestly, it's just between work and life and kids' sports and kids' activities. And you just haven't had the necessary ability to just be focused on doing the podcast and all that kind of stuff. I was going to troll last week and join when you guys did Fitz Talk today, but then some stuff happened again. But you want to know what? I'm in a quiet hotel room now and I'm traveling, but you want to know what a perfect time. It was a good time for me to scroll through today and see everything that was going on. And honestly, I'm a much calmer Dolphins fan than I have been in a very, very long time, the last couple of months, processing everything. And honestly, it's a great day. The same way Steve Malloy says we're free, I have to give myself a little bit of a Barry Horowitz. I know you've been doing that for me. I said this before they benched him, what they need to do, and it happened. So whether it's good or bad for the team, we'll talk about. But honestly, it's a pleasure to be back with you. I'm going to be back full force. Whatever you thought you were bored of Finstanza, I'm back.
So, we're going to get into Malik Willis. We're going to get into that contract and the surprise of it all. I know Steve Malloy is going to get into it more tomorrow. He's going to discuss, he has a Tua going away party. I know he's going to discuss Malik Willis. DSG is in the house. Capital Life is in the house. Everybody tuning in. Appreciate you guys joining us here on a special FTSN News Edition. To Dolphins cut Tua Tagovailoa. The Tua era is done. And Malik Willis now a Miami Dolphin. What we thought may have what could happen when everybody's poking the dots and you go, there's no way it happened. It's official. And my goodness, the first thing Evan asked me, which is 100% legitimate when I call him, because right away he goes, him and be Bobby. I just call him, I go, did you see it? He goes, wait. And I go, you didn't see it? He goes, I can't hear you. Wait. I go, okay, now I know what he's doing. So, and then when he goes, first thing he asked, what's the contract? And we're going to get into that. But let's discuss the before. And the before is Tua Tagovailoa. Tua, obviously, 5th overall pick. We've seen whether you believed them in him first or you didn't. We had the Tua nons, the Tua haters, whatever. It's such a phenomenon, whatever you want to call it, Evan. But like you said, we all were ready to take Tua off as starter. Sammy was leading the charge in regards of being a Tua guy, but even him this season was like, it's done. We're done with Tua. We were all done with Tua as the quarterback for the Dolphins. You were one of the first people, though, to say, I'm really done with Tua. Get rid of him at the end of the year. Take the hit. The Denver Broncos did it. You and I, we had a fiery debate. I do believe I still say that damn, the hit. I didn't want to take the hit, but I get it. As it got closer and the season went on, and then as we got to after the season, it made more sense. And as you hear John Eric Sullivan before officially releasing Tua, the writing was on the wall. And it wasn't about the money at this point. It was about closing the chapter, closing the book, ending this chapter of Tua and the Dolphins. And, we'll get into Minka, but the Dolphins officially do it. And for my opinion, I know something, and again, now as I reflected and we got on, and if you were following the show, this is where I'm standing now, because, Evan may have not been on, but I was shadowing him. I was, speaking on his behalf because I was saying,
I watch everything.
Has to be done. It needs to be done. It's just, you have to close this chapter, and it sucks, but it's a June 1st designation. You're spreading out it's still a hit, but you're just easing, you're spreading the pain out. And if you thought Miami was just going to sit back and say, okay, let's tank for Arch Manning, let's do it, not so fast, which we'll get into. But the release was made. It was necessary. Tua gets a fresh start, signs right away with the Atlanta Falcons on a 1-year minimum deal. Dolphins move quickly, get their guy. Before we get into their guy, which is Malik Willis, Evan, now that it's official, what are your thoughts on the release of Tua Tagovailoa as the Dolphins quarterback?
I feel that today is Liberation Day for a lot of us. We've been looking for a quarterback for over 25 years. We've had 9 starting quarterbacks, or 10 if you include Tua, since we can go over them, who the 10 starting quarterbacks have been. And when Tua Tagovailoa signed that contract, something changed. And he was no longer humble Tua. Tua signed a contract where we were negotiating against ourselves. The coach, who I had a bigger problem with than Tua, banged the table for this guy to get this contract, which he should never say no to. But this is the same guy who says the market is the market, showed up at training camp, show me the money. I have my potato chips right here because I'm sitting on my chair eating my potato chips. He threw his team under the bus. This guy was a captain. This guy, they built the offense around him. And this is a guy who, nice guy, great for his family, had a huge foundation, did good things in the community. But he never did what was necessary to be an established quarterback. His goal, I feel, was more to be more like a Tim Tebow-like, and the fact that he was putting out his personality and putting out what he has done before in college versus actually improving as a quarterback and really developing. He was reacting to the fact of doing the jiu-jitsu and reacting to getting bigger, then to getting skinnier, then to doing all these things. But his mentality became that he was already a great quarterback. He was an okay quarterback, but then all of a sudden he got Tyreek Hill. Then he got Devon Achane. Then he got Jalen Ramsey on defense. And then he got Teron Armstead. He had all these pieces put around him, and he still found ways to struggle in the key elements and didn't lead his team when it was necessary. So when the moment he was drafted, I had his jersey within a week. I will always support my quarterback. But his personality changed, and he did not act like a leader. He acted like a follower. He acted like somebody who already had proven that he was the the best quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in the league as a passer rating, and he was in the MVP conversation. But when it mattered, he never got out of his way. He made a lot of selfish decisions. When he was supposed to take care of himself, he didn't. When he was supposed to take chances, he didn't. He was more about the Tua Tagovailoa brand than he was about the Miami Dolphins. Now, he wrote a nice message today. John Eric Sullivan wrote a nice message today. But the fact of the matter is that I even knew that the moment that Mike McDaniel was fired, you knew he was gone. I still had a chance. If Mike McDaniel was back, maybe he still would have been there and maybe competing for a job, and they had to maybe rebuild him. But Tua Tagovailoa in Miami was no longer a fit. The culture had to change. Now, you, Sammy, a lot of people on the network said, well, let him compete. It's a big cap hit. The problem is that if you look back now, Jalen Waddle has been a quiet player. Devon Achane, quiet player. Jordan Brooks calls his team soft, but stands up for his team. Aaron Brewer stands up for his team. Patrick Paul, a young guy, a rookie, a second-year player, developing. Jack Sealer's always been a leader type. There's nobody else on the team that had a negative impact on the team outside of Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, Minkah Fitzpatrick, who just never felt comfortable here. Alec Ingold was a captain who didn't perform well at the end. Jason Sanders was overpaid for what he was needed down this team. Tua Tagovailoa was the biggest problem on this football team that was left, and you had to pull that Band-Aid off. So for me, Tua Tagovailoa can go on. He could be successful, but like we say with anybody else, just because he's successful somewhere else doesn't mean he deserves successful with us. That's in any sport. Just because someone does well somewhere else doesn't mean they would have done well with us. So for me, Tua Tagovailoa being released today was like I said, there was a trio. There was Greer, there was McDaniel, there was Tua. If you kept one. If you kept one, it's still not good enough. You had to get rid of all of them to give it a fresh start. Tua Tagovailoa will go down in Miami Dolphins history as one of the biggest failures at the quarterback position because he was given the most and he, in the end, couldn't win a playoff game. So for me, unfortunately for Tua Tagovailoa, his time with the Miami Dolphins was an epic failure.
So you just brought it up because we know it's going to happen, right? He goes to Atlanta, and Atlanta's a great spot. It's in a dome, right? But you think about the talent, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Yeah. It's going to happen. Tua's going to have there's going to be a stretch where he's going to be really good, and we're going to hear it. We're going to hear it. We're going to see it. And the social media, we're going to see it, right? And we're going to hear it. Oh, see, this is why we should have kept him. He just needed a new guy, whatever. This breakup needed to happen. For Tua, for the Miami Dolphins. You said it best. And you know what? I have his right here, Ralphie boy. I told you earlier.
Happy heavenly birthday to my boy.
Happy birthday, Ralph. Happy heavenly birthday, Ralph. And I told you, I said, man, I feel like he's working extra time because, I expected the Tua thing. I know we got McDaniel and Greer gone. Now Tua's gone. I did not expect, Malik Willis, or really believing it was going to happen. It does. But shout out to Ralph on a crazy day, man. Like I think I messaged you. Like I messaged some, but I was like, man, I really want to call him so freaking bad. I wanted to call him today. And, because I could have, I could see he would have been like kind of like questioning the Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think we all kind of did a little bit. Would have been happy about the Tua thing because that had to happen, but he would have been ecstatic with the Malik Willis news. And so, today it's been bittersweet, but it's been awesome too. Now, you're absolutely right, though, that this had to happen. And then it's just what it is. You wipe your hand, 2 seasons, we're done. And if you think about it, it's a 3-year deal with Malik Willis. It's really a 2-year deal. But, the way it kind of plays out, and we'll get into the contract. But, big news for the Miami Dolphins, of course, Tua getting bounced. He's officially released. He signs with Atlanta. And then Miami, of course, turns around and brings in Malik Willis. And there's no doubt, we see it with his teammates. We've seen it before. There are things that we saw this year, press conference wise. Even when he got the new deal, you brought up, show me the money. We know how, besides all that, we know how a good person he is. Tua is a stand-up guy. His teammates love him. He's a great person. All of that above, right? But there were questions. Do you see that regression on the field? If you think Tua was a great guy, Malik Willis is an amazing dude. One thing, I'll tell you, a couple seasons back, or a few seasons back, when he was a rookie, and I was talking with Josh Wingate and coach. Malik Willis was one of those guys that we really liked, and not just a playmaker coming out of Liberty, but also a great human being. Amanda Sargar made a post today, and I always reference that scene where in Indianapolis where he's taking off his gear and he's giving it to somebody on the street. That's who this guy is. This is who we have representing the Miami Dolphins right now. And obviously it doesn't matter much off the field. It matters what you do on the field. We're going to get into on the field, but you saw him today. He was training. He's training. He got on with Pat McAfee. And he said, he's obviously very familiar with Coach Hafley, playing against him on defense as he coached the defense, familiar with Sullivan, excited for this opportunity to be with him. Signed for a lot less than what was expected. They were talking about 25 to 30 plus. He signs for 22.5 per year, $1 million this year because he took a $22 million bonus, but still coming to the Miami Dolphins. You're not only getting a great guy to represent your franchise and a young quarterback, you're getting a playmaker who, in his short time with Green Bay, when he came onto the field, that's why he was maybe the top free agent. That's what Ian Rappaport called him, the top free agent in this class. Is what he did on the field. He's explosive. Yes, he could run. He has a big arm. His ceiling has not been hit. There was a time where when he fell in that draft and went to the third round, a lot of the media pundits had him as a first-round guy. That's how loved this guy was coming out. Of course, he fell, went to the Titans. Titans are a mess. Didn't work out. Goes to Green Bay, raises up his profile, and now signs a starting role contract with the Miami Dolphins. And I mean, you look at this deal, and I'm going to open up my message to Evan earlier. This is a 3-year deal, $67.5 million, $22.5 million signing bonus for this season, $1.25 million for 2026. That's fully guaranteed. Next year, $21.5 million fully guaranteed. $2 million March 2028 roster bonus, and a 2028 $20.5 million deal. 45 over 2 years for Miami, for Malik Willis and the Dolphins. Again, that was not his projected salary coming in. He was projected to get a lot more. He signed for less to come to the Dolphins. Now, does it work out? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, that's a freaking bargain. Like, I don't know how you could look at that, see that deal come through, and be mad at that deal. That's a great deal for pretend. It doesn't mean you're locked in. Oh my gosh, now we're going to be stuck to Malik Willis. But first off, the reason why I trust this move is the same reason why I trusted Jeff Hafley getting hired. John Eric Sullivan knew this guy. He worked for them for 2 years. It's not like they were long together for 5-10 years and, oh my God, Green Bay South. No, this is a guy that they know they work together, and he's like, man, I like him. I see the potential there. They worked. Wasn't he only a 1 year? He's only been with Green Bay for 1 year, wasn't it? Or 2 years? Two. They coached against him. They've seen him go in league. And if they didn't sign him, then it would have been like, I would have been okay with it, because I was like, if they don't go after him, there must be a reason. No, Miami made a priority. He was the first free agent signed, and they made him for a 3-year deal. I am very intrigued and optimistic about this signing. I know a lot of people have their hopes up for a certain quarterback in 2027 rookies. I don't think that knocks it, because if he struggles this year, you don't think John Eric Sullivan's going to do it? Did you not watch the Packers when Sullivan has been there for 20 plus years? I think this is a great opportunity. But Evan, your official thoughts on this?
You hired John Eric Sullivan. That was a great first step. Then people were concerned about Jeff Hafley. But then people saw how popular he became. They impressed us during the press conferences. They looked convicted. They spoke well. They engaged well. They were honest with their fans. They were transparent with their fans. They said there was going to be a competition, but they in Green Bay know how to develop quarterbacks. In Tennessee, he was thrown to the wolves the same way I said when we first started podcasting together that when the biggest mistake the Dolphins ever made with Tua was putting him in his first year. He should have been redshirted the same way Jordan Love was redshirted, Aaron Rodgers was was sat, Patrick Mahomes had sat. All these quarterbacks sat who have been successful in their careers. A lot of the ones who get thrown in take years to develop. Malik Willis had to go the hard way, went to Liberty, then was pushed into Tennessee, put into a position where he was not given a foundation. Then he gets brought into Green Bay, where he is basically guided by Matt LaFleur, and he gets trained, and then he gets to go against Jeff Hafley's defense. John Eric Sullivan sitting there in the executive branch, focused on how Malik Willis is developing. You see a guy who, with the same stature as Tua, but I think he's much thicker, he's much stronger, he barrels down guys, has a good arm, can move in the pocket, who's willing to learn, was willing to be a backup, was willing to take chances to develop himself. He's 26 years old, and he basically said, I want to go somewhere where, by the way, not 45 million guaranteed is still generational wealth. So anyone who thinks that this guy's not establishing himself for his family with the money he's making, the man wants to go somewhere he's comfortable. He's going to go to a place with a general manager who has the conviction to make him the biggest signing that he has made, a coach who's willing to stand for him. He's been in an offense run by Matt LaFleur, which is part of the Shanahan tree, which is where Bobby Slowick is from. Jeff Hafley, the Shanahan tree. So there's a lot of familiarity. He knows this year that he has a runway because this is a team that's developing, that's rebranding itself, and there's not going to be as much pressure to be successful. I'm not going to put that pressure on him. He started 6 games. He's been successful in those 6 games, but I'm not putting pressure on him. And the number one thing I will say about him, whether as good of a person as he is that there's no quarterback in the 2026 draft. There's no quarterback in free agency. There's no quarterback on the roster. There's no quarterback around that has the pedigree coming out of into free agency than Malik Willis. Why? Kirk Cousins is going to find a job where he needs to. Kyler Murray really has to reestablish himself, but he's reestablishing himself after being benched. Tua has to reestablish himself after being benched. Gardner Minshew didn't start. Malik Willis has redeveloped himself, realized what he needed to do, and in the games where he has played, he has been successful. Now he gets to go into a place where Devon Achane is your running back. Jalen Waddle is your number one wide receiver. Greg Dulcich, who we'll get to, is a tight end that's available. He now knows that he now has the opportunity to prove himself and to basically build something. And by the way, I look back on this. I will never blame the Miami Dolphins for taking a shot at quarterback. Since Dan Marino, they've been looking for the next guy. Back in the day, we all laughed. Oh, we look back now. What a bad trade it was for Josh Rosen for a 2nd and a 5th. But the guy was 10th, the 10th pick in the pre-draft in the previous year with an awful team in Arizona. So you took a shot. I will never blame the Miami Dolphins for taking a shot at quarterback. I don't like the fact that when you look back now on Tua, but at least they took a shot. They just picked the wrong guy. So for me, Malik Willis is the best quarterback available across the draft and across free agency this season. And on top of that, he's going to a place where he feels comfortable. He's going to be given a foundation where he knows the people that are there. And for me, you can't ask for anything more than that. So for me, a quarterback at 22.5 million, which is basically a 45 million guarantee. So after 2 years, you can still draft a quarterback next year. And if Malik Willis it doesn't turn out to be the right guy, you're free and clear of him, and you can get that quarterback to come in. It takes away the pressure of drafting a quarterback in the first 4 rounds. My prediction is they'll probably end up picking unless Nussmeier falls or Alar keeps falling. I could see them going in the 7th round using the Minkah Fitzpatrick pick to go draft a Sawyer Robertson or someone like that. But I don't see, and there's Cam Miller on the roster. If you recall, they signed him at the end of the year. All I could say is Malik Willis right now on paper is the best available person out there. And based on his effort, based on his commitment to earn the job again, the man's making $11 million less this season than Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield just lost Mike Evans.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield does not have a lot going on. The Carolina Panthers have a great opportunity to win that division. The Falcons might do something this year. We'll see. But that made sense, the Tua thing, because of Michael Penix and 2 left-handed quarterbacks. So the establishment there, it works. But for me, Malik Willis shows you that they're not trying to rebuild this over 5 years. They're trying to build a foundation that they can win this quickly if they get the right people. And they basically now gain themselves 2 draft picks because the Minkah trade gave you a 7th. And by signing Malik Willis, you now don't have to urge yourself to go sign get a quarterback this year. So now they can go get positional players to help Jeff Hafley's defense or help Bobby Slowick's offense and Malik Willis. And by the way, you can go watch the All-22s. You can go watch Chase Daniels breakdown. You can go watch Kurt Warner's. Everyone's going to have different opinions. The man can move. If you go back, Bobby, and watch the game against the Ravens on Saturday night where they lost by 17, Jeff Hafley's defense struggled. There was no Micah Parsons. There was a lot of injuries. Malik Willis was great. Malik Willis is the quarterback we all want physically that we wanted Tua Tagovailoa to be. Mobile, good arm, kind of comfortable in the pocket, willing to knock people down, not willing to be the only guy on the team, willing to be a team player. You're not going to ever hear Malik Willis speak the way the brashness of what went on in Miami right now, the last couple of years. Malik Willis is a breath of fresh air just because he earned his right to be here today. So for me, the Malik Willis, if it works out, phenomenal. If it doesn't work out, at least they were convicted. The fact that he was willing to come to Miami, where Miami's in a rebuild, already tells you that a quarterback is willing to chance this makes Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan look even better because he could have gone to get more money in Arizona. He chose to come to Miami where he could be comfortable with people who are establishing a culture and a foundation that will lead to winning in the future.
No, I think you're right on, and we're in that point right there as well. Is that again, he could have gone anywhere for a lot more money, but because he, believes in Hafley, believes in Sullivan, believes in their vision, comes here for a lot less money. And again, for those who might be a little down on this move because it's like, oh man, this eliminates QB as an option or eliminates a chance at a top 10 guy next year, whatever. Again, look at their history. Do not think for one moment that if they do not believe he is the guy, if he does not show up and show out and look capable this coming season, I could see them trading up and going and get another guy. But I also think that Malik Willis is coming in here knowing the Dolphins, John Eric Sullivan and Hafley are coming into the season knowing that Miami may not be the best team. That they're saying, hey, we want to get this set. We want to get this foundation set. We want to let you lead it. You're going to be our quarterback. You're going to start this process off with us. You're going to be our lead dog. You have an opportunity to start for this amount of money, and he's going to do it. And, I don't think they're going in there. Again, I already said way before even thinking about signing Malik Willis with Quinn Ewers at quarterback that, tank season. I don't even see it as a tank season. I don't believe these guys were planning on taking. And this is evidence. The Minkah deal today for a 7th round pick to the Jets, that was like, oh, well, that is straight up trying to. But then you turn around, you go out, then it's like, then you see Malik Willis get signed.
That's not why.
Why?
Because the reason they did what they did was if they would have they cut Minka to be able to sign Malik. But if they would have
That was my final point. I
no
was just saying
no
that's what
but
you
no
thought
but
I
I
did.
would say they're lucky they got a seventh, because had they just released him,
Yeah.
it would have been the same cap savings had they released him or they traded him.
Yeah. And then so for
just
Greg
wanted to mention
Sauce,
that.
I hope Ewers gets a shot at QB1. The one thing that, first off, again, the money obviously is a lot more than Quinn Ewers, so you automatically think this guy, I think he does have the inside track. However, if you listen to John Eric Sullivan and you listen to Coach Halfley, ever since they became the leaders in the clubhouse for the Dolphins, competition in the room. We're bringing in competition in the room. That I think they will say, hey, he has an opportunity. Now, if he plays so well in preseason, it's going to be hard to ignore. Ewers has to stand up and show up and show out in preseason. If he wants, right now, everybody knows what the inside track is. We all know Malik Willis did not sign up here to be the backup. He signed to be the starter. But Quinn Ewers needs to come in and show that he could be the starter, that it's too hard to ignore leaving him. Now, I agree with Josh Wingate, and Josh will be on, me, Josh, and Coach will be on tomorrow for the Finstock Draft Show. Again, Josh and I and Coach were in on Malik Willis on the draft a few years back, liked him a lot. So I really look forward to that conversation with Josh tomorrow. But I absolutely agree with Josh in regards of, I don't know about top 100. I'll never put it past depending on who's there. But I think at any point in the draft, do not sleep. I don't think this eliminates the Dolphins drafting a quarterback at all. If one of those guys are sitting there in the fourth, fifth round, I think it could happen. Even if you had 3 third-round picks, if a guy that you thought was going to go in the second round, he's sitting there in the third round, and you got one of those 3 picks, grab and stash, brother. You're good. You got this guy for 3 years. What if you get a Taylon Green from Arkansas? Another guy, maybe you don't want him as your starter, but you want to put stash, catch and stash. You go do it. I don't think that eliminates that whatsoever. Yeah. He goes, I know he said competition, but I hope he sticks to his word and doesn't just hand Willis the job because he got $22 million.
I want to just take a point on what Greg had said. There's no rush for Quinn Ewers. He's a 7th round pick. The only reason why Brock Purdy never would have gotten his opportunity at quarterback if it wasn't for injury. We wouldn't know who Brock Purdy was. You may not know who Tom Brady was if Drew Bledsoe did not get injured. So let's just be very, very clear about the fact that Quinn Ewers might get his opportunity, but don't force it. Look at the success that Aaron Rodgers had sitting. Look at the success that Patrick Mahomes had sitting. Look at the success that Jordan Love had sitting. There is nothing wrong with a quarterback developing. Kirk Cousins became a better quarterback sitting behind Robert Griffin III.
Yeah. He just and I think it's just sitting behind someone who knows the system, knows the coach, or even just competing. Yeah. Competing is better. We wanted to compete. And again, this is great for Quinn Ewers because he's going to have that chip. He's going to come out and show up. And again, DSG, too many holes to fill to go after a quarterback in this draft. I don't believe in that. If you have a prospect that is better than another, just because the prospect that's lower is, let's say you need an edge rusher and he's lower on your board, but let's say you got a quarterback right here and he's high on your board, go get the guy high on your board. Oh, we're not going to get a guy who's lower, who's not projected to be a starter, who's not projected to do a damn thing. We're not going to draft him just because he's a position of need. Bobby, you go get the guy based off what BPA.
Who's picking first in the draft this year?
The Raiders. The Raiders.
You know who has spent the most money during the tampering period today?
Raiders.
They are spending money like the year that the Patriots did when they spent money frivolously on Hunter Henry and all these guys. And I remember how much they spent. They spent like $250 million. Tyler Lindenbaum, who spent 3 years, 3 years,
yeah,
who we like coming out of the draft, who spent a couple of years. I think he signed a 3-year, $81 million contract to be the center for Mendoza. $81 million for a center. $81 million. we signed our quarterback for way less money than that. And what's the most important position in football? Quarterback. So for me to get this guy at $22.5 million, where with the signing bonus, his cap hits only $8.5 million this year, is amazing. So the signings today, we'll get to the other signing today. The Dolphins are not done. If they see a player that fits their mold in the next couple of days, they're going to sign them. All they need to do is they have opportunities. If someone comes to us and says they're going to extend Devon Achane, no one's going to be upset. If people say they extend Jordan Brooks, no one's going to be upset. If they extend Aaron Brewer, no one's going to be upset, because these are players who are actually have proven at their position that they have naturally, systematically made the team better, unlike the guys they got rid of this year. So for me, you could see right now they ain't tanking. And by the way, the opportunities in the draft are immense. Right now, you see right away, think about this. They focused today on the most important position is quarterback. They re-signed an important tight end, who I think, by the way, there's some stats. I'll actually read you an important stat from him. But they haven't touched the defense yet. Hafley, you think Jeff Hafley is going to leave his defense the way that it is? Are you not happening? There will be some signings there, and there's going to be some. And by the way, don't sleep on them, because in the end, who were important players for us this year? Rasul Douglas, Jack Jones. You can find great people. You can find great players. You can find. Who knows? You never know. So Quay Walker signed with the Raiders. Big money. Larry Borum signed with the Lions. Oh, Jake Bailey signed with the Falcons, or whatever it is. Look at what's going on. We have a very unhappy Alvin Kamara. I don't know. Peter Schrager just posted something. I don't know if they announced the signing yet, that the Chiefs may have made a sneaky signing. I don't know if it got posted yet, if anyone's seen it yet. I can give you, by the way, the Greg Dulcich 1-year deal. $3.25 million, 1.675 signing bonus, $2.9 million guaranteed, salary $1.145 million guaranteed, and $20,000 per game rocked after bonus. And by the way, his stats, I just wanted to read you something about that, which I thought people would like to know about. Dolphins Muse posted it. People like to deal with all these funny stats. Greg Dulcich led all NFL tight ends with the YAC, yards after catch per reception, at 7.6, yards per target, a first down guaranteed every time, at 10.2. He also finished third in yards per catch at 12.9. And he was a fun guy to watch. So the fact that he wants to come back as part of this, that also gives him another consistent person on the team. So for me, so the Chiefs are re-signing. Chiefs are signing Taquan Thornton to a 2-year, $11 million deal. That was, I guess, the signing, because I know he was on Georgia Thin Faithful's opportunity to be signed as a potential free agent. But no, for me right now, the Dolphins right now, it's positive, because there's a different feel here. It's a new mentality.
Yeah.
It's a new 100%. Focus. And it's only day one, but think about it. You could hear about the Max Crosby trade a couple of days ago. Right now, the number one position in football is quarterback. Who signed the biggest free agent on the market heading into free agency? The team that nobody thinks was going to be able to sign him. And that's the Miami Dolphins. So people can say, so in the end, people are going to see this, and people are going to want, I think more people are going to want to come to Miami. Like, there's opportunities here for growth here. So for me, today is a positive day. Had Malik Willis gone to Arizona, who's looking to re-sign Jacoby Brissett and is going to sign Gardner Minshew, like that's like, who would you rather have right now? A quarterback room of Jacoby Brissett or Gardner Minshew, or Malik Willis and but
Quinn think Ewers? About that. I mean, again, and it's, you could say it's homer all you want, but first off, I love what Greg's saying. We needed this reset. It's absolutely true. I mean, this is like, I understand,
oh
it's going to be a headache next year. No, it's what's needed.
No, it's fun.
You needed a clean slate, but again, it's going to make it exciting. You're going to have Malik Willis, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, unless something shocking happens, or whoever our tight end is. I mean, you think, I know he said, don't sleep on Darren Waller coming to Miami. We'll see. I don't want to sleep anymore, because I was sleeping on Malik Willis coming. I didn't believe it, and it happened. So you never know. But Stanza getting me hyped for this 3-win team. Look at DSG getting hyped up. But
Although
you think about again, and I'll say this in regards of drafting or not drafting a quarterback. Listen, right now we know who our starting quarterback is. We know who our backup quarterback is right now. Third, fourth, fifth, 4, 5, 6, 7 round, whatever. Fine, it's true. I get it, right? You don't. That's what's great about this move. You eliminate the need or the desperation to go get a guy to compete with Quinn Ewers. You don't need to go, Ty Simpson at 11, some crazy thing, or Garrett Nussmeier at 2. You don't have to do that. Now at 11, unless you're trading down, if Ruben Bain is sitting there, you go get your edge rusher. If one of those top corners are sitting there, you go get your corner or wide receiver. Listen, I just did a whole thing with Draft Professor. Shout out to Draft Professor. Guys, go subscribe to that podcast. Those guys, they are awesome. They follow the draft and prospects all year. As soon as the draft is over, they're already live. They go 2 nights a week, every night a week or whatever, 2 nights a week, 2 different times, doing drafts, doing scouting. Great people. But we did a whole thing on day 3 wide receivers. And I mean, my goodness, the names they were bringing up, the players that were there, the kid out of Florida. I'm losing the name now, Evan. You know how I am.
What position?
Caldwell from Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
Jeff Caldwell from Cincinnati. I mean, this is a guy from under the radar who, again, there's guys that you could get after the top 100 that quite possibly could be a number 1 guy for you in on your team. But again, you think about early rounds, Jordan Tyson. Hold on one second. Hey, Tristan, if you want to go out there, your grandma's calling if you want to FaceTime that. Don't answer until you get out. Sorry, guys. I need this. Go out there. Yep, out there.
Guys, don't think that Bobby's taller than me. He's on stilts tonight.
It doesn't matter. You're sitting down, and I got myself a stand-up desk. Not everything's working.
Me sitting down.
But no, it feels good. But I'm like, okay. But Dale Robinson, thank you for watching from Twitter. Appreciate you joining in. Ray Finkel as well. Always great to see you. I know you are. But again, this move opens up the opportunity now to focus on those other positions. You need a corner. You could get one at 11 if Mansour Delane, Jamad McCoy, Avion Tyrell, which is from Clemson.
McCoy is not going to happen. I don't see them.
Just throwing names.
I know, but the whole McCoy situation, I don't see them ever drafting a guy. I do, Bobby. I know I like McCoy's tape, but I don't see this. Doesn't look like a team.
No, Mansour Delane fits more what my.
Not even that. It's just I don't see them looking at the tape and not having tape for the 25 season. The fact that he didn't play in 25 or hardly played in 25, I don't see them going after him.
Another name though, talking about not first round, Tesario Davis. Big corner, 6'4" out of Washington. That's a dude
Titleman is the guy. Tiedemann, I love him.
Yeah, and
by the way, Austin Jackson. I think they're going to hold on to him until the draft because I could see if Francisco Mayorga drops, then and he falls to them at 11, they might take him and say buy Austin Jackson. But I don't think they're going to do it till they know who his replacement is. So, but no, I am not going to sleep on any pick in the draft, but the more players they can draft, this offseason. I'm looking forward to. Right now, what do they have? They have 8. How many picks do we have? We have 1 in the second.
We have 9 picks. 9 picks.
I could see them. I don't think they're done. I could see them going. I'd like to see a dozen picks in this draft.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. And I do think that it's not done.
It's a deep draft. Honestly, for the roles we need, if we think about it, it's not a deep quarterback draft, but it's a deep wide receiver draft. It's a deep edge rusher draft. It's a deep cornerback draft. So I see the Dolphins. If I'm them, I don't want to pick at 11. I want another second round pick. And I want another second round pick.
You could get me another third round pick, and I'm going to be happy. The Dolphins have 3 third round picks. The Dolphins have 3 third round picks is great news to me. Like if you get me another third round pick, or like you said, even a second round pick, obviously. But
that's
a third
where I'm
round
wearing
pick,
my.
Great, you're killing me, Smalls
jersey. That's what they were doing to me all year. And by the way, I want to tell you this.
Who's the Three Stooges?
McDaniel, Greer, and
sorry.
But
I thought you got about Greg.
No. Let me ask you something. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does Jim Harbaugh want to get fired?
You saw he made this sign
Why
Cole
is he
Strange.
giving Mike McDaniel, Cole Strange, Alec Ingold? By the way, the big signing, which is actually a decent signing, was the Aloha. What's his name? Jesus, what's his last name? The guy from the Ravens was just signed. Aloha. He signed a 3-year, $24 million contract. Yeah, Aloha Gilman from the Chargers was signed to a 3-year, $24.75 million with $50 million guaranteed with the. But you want to know what? The Dolphins are being smart. We're going to have so much cap space in 2027. And I'm sorry to tell you this. You have a quarterback now who's been in a winning culture and sat and watched. Like, that's important. I'm sorry. Sitting and watching and developing behind Jordan Love with Matt LaFleur and having your defensive coach is amazing. So for me, the Dolphins were very strategic today. And in the end, so far, they've won free agency to me. They've won free agency.
Oh, man.
Because no one expected them to do this. And Bobby, they did it for a contract that no other. Look at the quarterbacks on all the other teams and what their contracts are going to be, except for Mendoza. Look at all the other quarterbacks. They're either taking quarterbacks that were cut
again
that were not successful, or they're honestly they're overpaid. For example, Sam Darnold got $38 million guaranteed, but his contract was, I believe, at least $8 to $10 million more, I think, than Malik Willis is. And yet he won 14 games here before. So Malik Willis knew that Malik Willis is not playing for this contract. He's playing for the next contract. And so for me, the Dolphins did a lot of smart things over. Honestly, this team, I don't know if you got to see it. Did you get to see that video with a drone about the facilities in Miami? You go watch that video. If you go watch, I think David Feronis posted it. It shows the Baptist Health Center through a drone. And Miami just has an establishment of the fact that there's just a feeling there. I don't know. It's not about the winning. It's about the fact that you actually are going to build a team. And they're not. And right now it starts with the quarterback. And this quarterback is in a better place now than the 26-year-old we just cut.
Yeah.
Much better place. He's healthier. He was in a winning culture. He's not expected to come in here and be the de facto leader. So he could be the leader at quarterback position, but he has a lot of people around him. He has Aaron Brewer, he has Jordan Brooks, he has Devon Achane, he has Jalen Waddle, people who have been here the last couple of years who can help him. So this whole situation for me it's one step in the right direction. And the fact that right now we don't have to worry about our quarterback for next year. That's a huge weight off your shoulders heading into the draft. What are the Jets going to do? Sign Kyler Murray. The Kyler Murray is now rumored to go to the Vikings. Who are they going to sign? Kirk Cousins?
I think Ty Simpson's going to be their next pick. I think that's their second pick.
Oh my God! I would never allow another Alabama quarterback on my staff.
First off, shout out to the Leopard saying we took the Dolphins took Malik Willis from the Arizona Cardinals. Shout out to Caneswear, our network sponsor. Appreciate Caneswear dropping in here. Again, 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida, guys. Dolphins gear, Miami Hurricanes gear, Marlins, Heat, anything South Florida, they've got it all. Go check out Caneswear, man. Brett and the crew, the awesome people. Love them to death. But yeah, huge news, man. It's a liberating feeling that the change has finally happened. That's what's up with Duke. What's up, Duke? I saw Lou earlier.
For me, I'm having a struggle. My number one struggle I have is and like I said, you could hear me how calm I am tonight, right? I usually get really riled up. And DSU was even saying I love positive instanza. Maybe my vacation or my hiatus was actually really good for me. But no, I will say that the Dolphins right now, Stephen Ross has done an excellent job because he put it in the hands of other smarter people who now are convicted. They're not just basically because, by the way, they could probably have convinced Stephen Ross, let's go sign him to $30 million. Let's go sign him to 35.
But let's give Ross his credit, though. I mean, look at that deal. That's he get $1 million cap hit the first year because Ross signed a $22 million check. You you guys, think about that for a second. Like Dolphin fans in general give Ross a lot of crap, but the truth is, man, he puts his money where his mouth is. I mean, he really does. And remember, he told John Eric Sullivan, if this doesn't work, it'll never be because I didn't give you the you remember that? The tools that necessary. And it showed right there with that contract. Finstanza rejuvenated. Yes, he is.
But you have to remember everything, by the way, Bobby. The Greer thing was always something I ignored because you were very hard on it. Brett was very hard on it. So it was already a big problem within the foundation of the Dolphins. I was saying the moment that Mike McDaniel was hired and Tua and him were together, I noticed it in 22, 23, I saw that they fell apart. In 24, I was already knocking it. And I said, until these guys are gone, we will never be successful. They needed a divorce from each other. The team needed a divorce from them. And in the end, that's what happened. It's the right thing for the Dolphins going forward. I love the re-signing of Greg Dulcich for $3 million. That doesn't stop you from going to cite a tight end, but I wouldn't touch tight end till the end of the. But now the Dolphins can go fill the cupboard with draft picks. I'm sure there's still. I would like honestly, there needs to be a wide receiver on this. I need to see one wide receiver and one secondary player that's 6'3" or more. I want to see a big body wide receiver that's actually utilized. I think you could find them. This draft is full. By the way, the Dolphins. You know what I like about this draft for the Dolphins that people don't realize? 9 picks, you said. They are going to fill needs for positions that they need to fill. This is a deep draft. It's not like one of those drafts where it's quarterback heavy and let's go get quarterbacks.
Let me just say,
this is a draft now. Now that you signed Malik Willis, you can now go fill the cupboard. There's not one pick. There's not one pick they make that is going to say, well, you don't need that position. It doesn't matter if it's a D lineman. It doesn't matter if it's a linebacker. Because, by the way, if they find the right line, let's say, for example, Sonny Styles falls to 11, right? Let's say Sonny Styles falls to 11.
Yeah.
You can actually then get more cap space and cut Terrell Dodson. Like, I don't see them. I think they're going to hold on to Dodson, hold on to Jackson until they see where the draft falls, because the draft is so unpredictable. I know you use PFN. I use it. If they run it, have you ever noticed how different it changes? Even when they run their algorithm, between 2 and 11, it constantly changes. And by the way, everyone's talking about, how amazing would Jeremiah Love be in Kansas City? Kansas City ain't drafting Jeremiah Love anymore. They signed Kenneth Walker III. They have Kareem Hunt, and they have Isaiah Pacheco. They don't need to say Jeremiah Love. So, if I see Jeremiah Love sitting at 11, I'm taking Jeremiah Love. So this Dolphins BPA. They can now go BPA because they signed their quarterback. There are so many teams now that don't have a quarterback that has the potential skill set of Malik Willis on his upside, where this is a prove-it contract for him. So he doesn't want his career he doesn't want it to be one and done in Miami. He doesn't want to be after 2 years. He doesn't want to be sitting on the bench next year, because they, in theory, could sit him on the bench next year.
They could. So I want to say this. I do want to say this because, and again, I see Canes where I am, because the point I do want to bring up too with a certain hurricane later on in the draft. Because you bring up a great point. First off, I think
CJ Daniels.
Yeah, yes,
I like.
I was just talking about him on.
Talk about a big body.
Let me just tell you something for a second. Miami could double dip at wide receiver, and I agree with DSG. I think there's an opportunity to.
You don't like Hurst either. I like Hurst.
Oh, Bryce Lance is another guy. I was just talking. Draft percentage is another one. But again, hold on a second. Again, even if they stayed at 11, right? You know, if Ruben Bain, if they're talking about T-Rex arms, Ruben Bain is sitting there at 11, you go get him, right? But yes, I think there is an opportunity to trade back. And I'm okay with trading back. I think it's a great opportunity to trade back. This is the draft to do it. You trade back, you double dip at wide receiver. This is the draft to do it. You know, if you go ahead and you get Chris Bell in round 2, and you go ahead, who I love, and then you turn around, let's say 4 or 5, 6, whatever, and you go get CJ Daniels, when we look at the Hurricanes, right, we think of Malachi Tony. I mean, my God, that kid's a superstar. He's going to be a superstar one day, right? Just like Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State coming one day, going to come out. But I was saying this on the Draft Professor. The unsung hero to me on the offense was CJ Daniels. He doesn't get enough credit. I mean, he was the playmaker. Like when they didn't have Fletcher, when they didn't have Tony, they had Daniels. Yes, he's a little older, but again, great size, 6'2", 6'3", 200 some odd pounds. Get him later on. He's a hometown boy. Go get him later on. But I think Miami should double dip at wide receiver. I'm not against drafting a running back at all. With one of the third picks or whatever. Now, again, I know Jeremiah Love, but again, there's the kid out of Penn State losing him, not Nicholas Singleton, even though Singleton was at one time a top 10 back. I think Allen, Contrell Allen and Catron Allen, a guy who, you could pair with Devon Achane. He's a more of a power back. He could block, he pass block, run block. I would love to do that. But Duke, you're right. Like I said, I think you could double dip at wide receiver and you'd be absolutely okay with it. Josh Wingate, how do you walk away from down one with a trade back to, let's say, 15 and Ty Simpson the pick, you get an extra third? How do you walk away from day one with a trade back? Oh, so you're saying with Ty Simpson, if Ty Simpson was our number one pick and you come away with an extra third round pick, Evan, I'll let you react since you are.
I know you don't want to pick I know you don't want to focus on the school, but I don't see Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan going to an STC school and going back to Alabama. We already ran that. Honestly, you're not bringing another Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback into this fold this year. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. So for me, I don't care where they trade back. I have complete faith in John Eric Sullivan to do what is necessary to make the right picks, because for me, this team, there's no bad picks because every position is needed here. And then this draft is so deep that you want to know, for me, they need a big body wide receiver. They're going to go get one. They're not stupid. Like the team, they know what their needs are. So, and by the way, this team is going to be way better than the team in 2019. That Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you couldn't even Jesse Davis at left tackle. You have Patrick Paul, Devontae Parker is your number wide receiver. You have Jalen Waddle, like you have Devon Achane. Who was your running back then? Who was your running back that year? I don't even remember. It was so bad. All I could tell you, who was our running back in 2019? Do you even remember? Can't even remember.
It wasn't. No, I almost said Raheem. Who was it?
No, it's 2019. It was maybe. Yeah. Oh, it was Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin.
Yeah, Gaskin. Yeah.
Myles Gaskin. That's who. Now I remember. But no, all I can tell you is right now, the Dolphins, for me, the draft is just so much more liberating now. Speaking of a guy who went to Liberty, he now liberated my focus on the draft.
There it is.
Okay,
I love it.
So no. So for me, I look back. You know what? I look back what happened today in free agency, and I'm proud and I'm happy because there's so many teams that overdid it. Some teams are, we need to replace this guy. We need to replace this guy. We need to replace this guy. We need to go. And, oh, my God, the 49ers are going to be amazing because they have Mike Evans. Mike Evans is on the wrong side of 30. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer, but there's no guarantee there because he can get injured pretty quickly. He's been injured the last couple of years, no guarantee. And you had the Brian Ayuk. You don't know where he's going to end up. But, because you have Kittle. Now they're talking about, I don't know if you heard the rumor. They may not be able to sign Trent Williams. So you want to know what? You could have McCaffrey. You could have Mike Evans. You could have, what's his name? You could have George Kittle. You could have Brock Purdy. But I'm sorry to tell you this. If people were to line up George Kittle, Mike Evans, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, and Trent Williams, people might take, and they say, we need to start our team. They might take Trent Williams first. And they may not be able to sign him. So you see what all the teams are doing this today with all these big signings. Oh, my God, they got Max Crosby. Oh, my God, they got Max Crosby. I'm about to tell you this right now. Teams, they have Kyle Hamilton. They have Max Crosby. They have Roquan Smith. It's a new – so, oh my God, Anthony Weaver is now his general. So, no guarantee. There's no guarantee. Every year, there's no guarantee. Jesse Minter is a first-year head coach. There's no guarantee. Mike McDonald took him 2 years. and to build up his team. There's honestly, there's no anything can happen in the NFL. You saw it this year. Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl. Drake May made it to the Super Bowl. If you build the right foundation and you draft the right players, look at Denver this year. Denver probably would. The New England's not in the Super Bowl. Bo Nix is starting at quarterback. And kudos to Josh Wingate, because as much as people knocked Bo Nix coming in the draft out of Oregon, he was banging the table for him. I would never have signed, for example, today, right now, the Carolina Panthers are paying 2 players we drafted over $185 million over the life of their contracts in Jalen Phillips and Robert Hunt. I would never have given those 2 guys that kind of money. Both are often injured. They did the right thing today. A lot of people jumped. They could have gone to keep Minka. Let's keep this. I won't be surprised if they trade Zach Sealer. Nothing these 2 guys will do will surprise me. Because if I told you, Bobby, you love Devon Achane.
I do.
There's a lot of smart people in the chat. If someone comes to you right now and offers you Devon Achane, and they offer you, let's say they go to Houston, and Houston has a ton of picks, and they offer you 28 and 50 something, or they offer you a second and a third, or you offer you a first and a third, or a first and a fourth. Are you trading Devon Achane potentially if you can get a late round first and a third round pick, and then now you have you trade back and you basically no player's untouchable. No player's untouchable.
I'll say this. I love that question, and I'll tell you, I've answered that a couple times to different people, because I think
if they can extend it.
I think Devon H. Fair enough, right?
I love Devon Achane.
But I'll say this:
I have his jersey now. His jersey.
I'm going to say, and I have 2 autographs that I got, when my son's room in my room. But I'll tell you again, John Axel did not draft Devon Achane. Jeff Hafley did not draft Devon Achane. Again, now John Axel has taken time, made sure he made a point to highlight Devon Achane. So I wouldn't, again, but if you're telling me someone's actually going to say, here's a first round pick and a second round pick, or a first round pick and a third round pick, I don't know how Sullivan ignores that or says no to that. He may take that, but again, then you're taking away that element of your offense that Malik Washington probably said, I love this idea to play with a Devon Achane.
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis to play with it. And shout out to Taj Malik Washington. Shout out to him. Tristan met him at the DCC. Unbelievable guy. Patrick Paul, freaking awesome.
Does Patrick Paul look like is he as nice as he looks?
I agree. But
is he as nice as he looks, by the way?
Who?
Patrick Paul, is he as nice as he looks?
He's a freaking sweetheart, dude. The dude's amazing. Can I just say,
how big is he, by the way?
He's a giant. He's a freaking giant.
Does he make big?
He makes you look small. He makes you look small. Freaking Andre the Costanza. No, listen. First of all, my son and I, we did the DCC. It was amazing.
I said first and a third.
Yeah, I agree though. Then the second and third is not enough.
No, but if they offer you 28, they offer you a first. They offer you a first, you have to go. You have to.
It's a discussion. It's a discussion. It's not a have to. It's a discussion.
I said you have to consider it.
Okay, that's fair. But I was going to say the DCC was amazing.
Yeah.
My son, I was so proud of him. He was awesome. The whole event, the whole trip we were there in regards of the things we were doing for that event. And then he completed the entire 5K. I asked him at one point because it was very hot, not enough water stations. I asked him, I said, dude, do you want to cut? We can cut. He said, no, I don't want to cut. I want to finish. We did it. Got a medal. He was awesome. We were able to go to the heavy hitters lounge up in the top, which, it was really nice to be given that. And we went upstairs and, it was really great. If I didn't have to go to the Heat game, which that's another thing, that we were doing that night at 3:30. We left early, but we went to the far back and we were just checking it out. I mean, they had ice cream and food. And if we didn't have to do that, we would have sat down and ate away. I mean, we probably come back over 100 pounds. He would have been over 100 pounds. I've probably been over to 280 or something. But yeah, Junior's a dog, man. Tristan is a dog. He's not a quitter. He was very hyped. At night, though, he was done. He was heavy breathing. He's sleeping, knocked out. You couldn't wake him up for nothing. Todd's like, is he okay? I said, he's fine. Just let him sleep. Because we had a busy day. But so we go into the lounge of the DC of the heavy hitters lounge, and we go to the end, and we're waiting, and we see some people. They're in their gear, obviously. Everybody's in their gear, and I tried to notice. I was like, this kind of big dude. I go, I think that's Ollie Gordon, and he's with Patrick Paul. And I kind of told you, I go, that's Ollie Gordon, And so Tristan,
Ollie freaking Gordon.
Ollie freaking Gordon. So like, I'm like, damn, But anyway, I tell Tristan, I'm like, he goes, oh, I go, it's not bothering me because they're going into the Ross VIP thing. There's another thing that they're going to, but Tristan right away runs up and goes, Patrick Paul. And Paul looks at him, Patrick looks at him, and he goes, it's the first time I've met a player live in real life. And he took the time, he shook his hand. He was very sweet to him, very cool. And then Malik Washington talked with Tristan, was very nice to Tristan. Who else was Kenneth Grant? They're all good people. They were all really cool. It was a really cool good time and exciting. So we're really rooting for those guys next year. Tristan said, Dad, those are my number one guys next year, just for meeting them. Let me see. Business is business. This is again with the HN thing. Again, Kainsworth says first plus. If a first pick is there, a first overall pick, you have to consider it. You have to consider
I don't want them to trade him.
I don't want them to trade him whatsoever.
But I heard an interesting stat.
Keep talking,
in Green Bay, in the John Eric Sullivan time, like the last 20 years, the Green Bay Packers have never had a running back under 208 pounds. I found that an interesting. Someone mentioned that, like why someone focused on that, but I find that really interesting. They like big body backs, so they definitely need to. They might say that he may not fit into the overall scheme, but the guy's a game changer. I do not want to trade Devon Achane. I'd like to extend him. But if I see Jeremiah Love sitting there, I would consider trading Jalen Wright or Ollie Gordon. Even if you get a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick, I'm willing to do that because I think you can never have too many running backs. So that's where I stand on that. Let Bobby continue. No, Bobby, I don't know if you heard what I said.
No, I'm sorry.
But I was saying that I want to keep Devon Achane. I would extend him. But the interesting stat about the Green Bay Packers is that they don't carry small backs. Typically their backs are over 200 pound backs. They've always done that. So for me, I'm less concerned about throwing Devon Achane. If someone like Jeremiah Love falls in their lap, or a great running back like is it Pierce? Is that Pierce? Is that the last name? What's the other backup in New Orleans?
Yeah, Jadaean Price. Price.
If he's there in the 3rd round,
Mike Washington out of Arkansas. That's
Mike Washington. Then maybe Ollie Gordon is expendable. Maybe Jalen Wright is expendable. You don't know.
No, you don't. But no, but like again, yes.
I just don't want to have
a thicker back or whatever, But again, when you go into a team and that type of talent is on your lock that is in your lap, you do it. And
you know what I learned today though? You don't buy jerseys of players that you don't buy jerseys of active players. Why?
Never.
I have that and you have that. My Tyreek Hill hoodie, my Tua Tagovailoa jersey, my Jason Sanders Crayola jersey, my Jalen Waddle's still available. I still have my Jalen Waddle jersey.
I do like my running back stick. I do. I love Devon Achane, but yeah.
No, I like
slumpers, boy.
My Jalen Waddle jersey and my Devon Achane jerseys are still alive and kicking. So I have my Marino stuff. I have my Zach Thomas stuff. I have that kind of stuff. My Finstanza stuff. But the one thing I right now, I'd like to hold on to my Waddle and Jalen Waddle.
A little longer.
The Waddle and HN jerseys a little longer, please.
I got a Tua back there. And I was like, oh, there's my Tyree Hill.
I have the old school, or I have the red, or I have the orange Tannehill.
You see that? But at least I have a Tannehill too, but you could pass that off as a Waddle if no one sees the back of your jersey. But it don't matter, it's whatever.
Okay, is there a way to turn the 1 into a 2 on your Tua jersey? Is there a way to do it? I don't know.
Right?
Buy a vowel?
Yeah. But it's gonna be interesting. I
wish him all the best.
I'm exciting. Oh, 100%. It's exciting.
I wish him all the best, Tua. It just he by the way, he needed this break as much as the Dolphins needed it. It was built up. It was something that you just needed to cut the cord on, and it couldn't be better. And like, you want to know what I like about about this organization right now is that we used to have a guy who never came out and never spoke, and you had another guy who never shut up but didn't know how to speak. Now you have two guys who come out and speak, but they speak about the team. They don't speak about themselves. Mike McDaniel, if you haven't noticed, every time in the interview he did with Pat McAfee with Jim Harbaugh, he tried to make it about Mike McDaniel. Jeff Hafley is just one of the boys.
Yeah.
You'll never know. You'll never know.
And first off, my cheetah jersey was on Whatnot, and it's one of those bootleg jerseys. And
when does the bandwagon start back? There's no
Ooh.
bandwagon. There's no bandwagon here. What it is clean, analytical thought processes. And all I believe is that they are building a foundation of success. And I believe the downturn of this organization was
I think they did. They did trade two first rounders.
They traded 2 first rounders for Ricky. It was the first time since then that they didn't the Max Crosby trade. Yeah. But no, my concern is that I believe that Tua Tagovailoa might still be the quarterback of this team, or the foundation. The team's demise happened the day they hired Mike McDaniel and the day they signed Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Because they forced the rebuild to be over. They tried to pull the Rams and they weren't successful. And had they hired an established head coach, a veteran head coach back in 22, then they may have had some success, because Tua never would have gotten that contract. But instead, they decided to hire a young guy who nobody hired. Jeff Hafley, people wanted. John Eric Sullivan interviewed for head coaching jobs. Malik Willis was somebody that other teams wanted. No one wanted to sign Tua Tagovailoa to that extension, and nobody wanted Mike McDaniel.
I just want to say we're about an hour 11 in. We're going to wrap this one up. It is late, but I want to shout out everybody who's watching and tuning in.
You?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
It's midnight for me.
No,
I'm on. It's like a meeting. By the way, no kids in a hotel.
You can stay on. You can stay on. If you want.
Right.
You do a solo show. We get going. But I do want to say too. I do see Caneswear in here, guys. You see the Caneswear podcast on YouTube, or the Caneswear YouTube channel right there. Do me a favor. Obviously, if you want Dolphins gear, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, anything South Florida sports, go check out Caneswear, caneswear.com. If you're anywhere other than South Florida, if you're in Canada or in Puerto Rico, Sammy has said before, they ship to Puerto Rico, they've shipped to Canada, they ship all across the United States. If you're in Texas, like Steve Malloy, if you're in Delaware, like Josh Wingate, you're in Tennessee, like myself, they send it out. They're quick, they're fast. It's a great team there. But if you are in South Florida, go check out the shop. Great staff, great merchandise. 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. But you see the YouTube channel there. Do yourself a favor. Make sure you subscribe to the Caneswear YouTube channel. Big things are happening over there. The crew, they got great plans. Excited to see what they got going on. So make sure you do that. If you love the Miami Hurricanes, you do not want to not subscribe to that channel. Make sure you're doing it if you want great content from the crew. DSG, thank you, sir. Duke, appreciate you. Everyone who's tuning in. Josh Wingate, myself, Coach Vogel, will be live tomorrow on the Fins Talk Draft Show on the clock to talk about this news, how it impacts the draft. We're going to talk linebackers. We're also going to do a post-free agency mock draft, or post-Malik Willis to a mock draft, kind of go with that. So please, if you are available, come back. We'll be live 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night here on FTSN. That is Finstanza. He's back. It's so good to see him back on here. I'm Bobby Fins Talk. Make sure you like and subscribe. And most importantly, Dolphin fans, now more than ever, Fins up. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.